Hello and welcome to Universally Epic Podcast, your go-to Universal Orlando trip planning podcast. I'm Jim Klein, along with Taylor Franklin. We're your hosts and travel agents for all things Universal. On today's show, 'tis the season for Butterbeer. There's been a huge update in the Universal Parks app, and it reveals a lot about Epic Universe's line queues, and the next gen of wands will have you saying Wingardium Leviosa in no time. Or is it Leviosa? I don't know.
These intros are like not for anybody else anymore at this point. They're
Well,
just to see if you can make me laugh.
I got it. This one, it was like last minute. I'm like, what could I do here? So, so let's get into this. Universal announced that it's like Butterbeer season. Have they had this in the past?
I don't think so. There's
Right?
like a major uptick in like how much people are like really fully enjoying Butterbeer, and I for one, 100% on board.
Yeah, I love it. I love
100%.
it. I honestly, when we went last year to Universal, like my family, all we made it a point to try every single type of Butterbeer. Like we tried all 7 types. So like it is something that's worth doing too because it's they're so different, each one of them. So
Hmm.
it's kind of nice to have. And now they're just keep adding more and more. Like we talked about a couple episodes ago, the crepes coming to Epic Universe. They're going to be phenomenal. Like we can't
I'm
wait for
so
those.
excited.
Um, but yeah, so they have they have 2 new items. One's a cream puff, which looks fabulous. Like that looks really good. Have you seen the
I
picture of that?
I love a good cream puff. I almost
Oh,
never turn down cream puffs,
it looks good.
and it looks phenomenal.
It looks like it has like a crunchy top and then like whipped
Yeah,
buttercream on top. It looks so good.
it's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, and then the candy bar. The candy bar also looks really good as well. Um, don't know what's in it though. Did you see what's in that candy bar?
I didn't see what's in it.
No.
I saw it very, very briefly, but it doesn't seem like anybody's really talking about that. They
Yeah,
are talking about the cream puff, though. I've seen people talking about that everywhere.
yeah, and the ice lolly is coming back. That was a huge hit last year. I
Hmm.
remember a lot of people on social media talking about that one. And then here's one that I thought was great. So it's butterbeer gummies, and then it's in this souvenir butterbeer cart. Have you seen this one?
Hmm.
It looks awesome. It's like it's it's basically a popcorn bucket but smaller, so you could put
Hmm.
gummies.
And it looks
It
like the little carts right in the middle of the
looks great. It
right in the
looks so
middle of the
good. I would get
walkways.
no problem. And then,
Same.
did you also see the Golden Stein? Um,
No, what?
yeah. So there's a Golden Stein that you can get butterbeer in, right? And so I I follow this guy on TikTok. His name is
Oh,
Live Laugh Lem, and I actually
hmm.
met him on my vacation at Disney last week. I kind of like
Oh,
stalked him
okay.
at Caribbean Beach, and I was like, "Oh, he's here." I'm like, "Let me go find him." And I went and took a picture with him. But
I
anyway,
hope you'll put that up on the screen.
yeah, I will. I'll put that up. Okay, yes, that's a good idea. Um, so this beer stein, well, not beer stein, butter beer stein. It's a
Hmm.
gold stein. Now, I was watching him, and it looks like just a plastic stein, but he said he said that it's an insulated mug, which is kind of cool. But you know what that means? That the price isn't kind of cool though.
The
It's
price is going to be insulated.
it's $40. It's $40.
Don't tell me that. Don't ruin my dreams.
It's $40 for a
Oh,
butterbeer golden stein. But
oh.
here's the
Is
thing.
there
So
a discount on the butterbeer that goes inside of it?
I hope that includes butterbeer, right? Like, and
Yeah,
I hope
because butterbeer's like $8.
I hope maybe your refill could be like a little less. I don't know though.
That would be cool. I would buy it. If you could get refills on butterbeer in that all day,
Oh, it'd be
even if
great.
it's just like date of first purchase, I'm
Yeah,
fine with that.
yeah. Um,
I would drink butterbeer all day.
so I
I'm
have
so sorry to my water intake.
I have a collection of German beer steins at my house. Like
Hmm.
that's what I collect. That's my thing. And this any sort of like Stein looking thing, I love. So I'm so in on this, and I would definitely shell out the $40 for it. To be honest with you,
I'm
it looks
complaining about it, but like we're gonna see it with.
you're
It's
gonna
gonna
see
be in my hand.
everybody carrying these things around. Like,
I listen. I collect these like they're candy, like my Universal cups. I love these.
they're
Um,
great.
I
I would.
collect those like candy, and I would absolutely 100%. I'm so in on the Butterbeer. I have the plastic one right here. You can't really see it; it's out of focus, but I have the plastic one right here.
Yeah, those refillable mugs at Universal in the parks is such a steal when you consider how much it really is per day, and you can purchase them like what is it like $12 each additional day after you. Is it a little more now?
It's okay. So like the cup itself, the first time that you buy it, I believe is 18.
Okay,
But if you buy more than one, the price
yeah, it
it
goes down, right?
bundles and it goes down if you buy more than one. Which Noah and I always buy two, so we've got so it goes. I think it ends up being like 25, $30 or something like that total. It's really not bad. And then all of the freestyle machines. The only thing you can't do, I think you have like a 10-minute cooldown on like getting drinks from the freestyle machine, which is fine.
Yeah, because those
Um,
those are huge. They're
yeah,
a lot
they're
bigger. Yeah, that's gonna hold like what 20 ounces of liquid. Like it's a pretty decent size cup.
yeah.
The ices too. My kids like the ices, so like that was kind of nice.
Mhm.
But yeah, I wish they had freestyle machines in Disney parks as well because it would be like so much
Well, and
nicer.
Disney's almost there, right? With like the ones in the resorts, the
Yeah.
refillable mugs in the
Yep.
resorts.
Well, it's funny because Universal has those resort mugs as well, which so
I
it's
have
so
my
funny
Cabana
that
Bay ones.
they have, like you can get your resort mugs and then you can get the park mugs, which is what though it's great because so you see a lot of people when you do go to Disney, you see people bringing the resort mugs into the parks, and you're like, you're
Hmm.
not gonna be able to fill that up. Like you fill it up with like the garbage water that they serve. That's one thing at Universal. Like the freestyle machines, the water coming out of there is not as bad as what you would
It's
get
all filtered.
all filtered. So it's actually not so bad.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and along with the okay, so let's get back into the butterbeer season. Butterbeer season, they they put out like a whole line of like merchandise too. There's like
Oh, I
a
know.
crossbody pocketbook, which my daughter would go at. I didn't even show her yet. She'd probably make me order it online. This thing is great. Like I don't obviously I'm not a bag type of guy, but I could tell that my daughter would absolutely love this little pocketbook that they show on online.
Hmm.
Then I saw
I'm
sweatshirt,
also
everything. Like they
yeah. I'm a big Spirit jersey person. I have a ton of Spirit jerseys, and they have a Butterbeer Spirit jersey, and I need it.
yeah, it's so much hype right now. It's amazing. It is amazing. Um, the let's see, yeah, the butterbeer merchandise is massive. That's what I want to say. So the dates. This only goes until the end of May. So it started March 1st and it's running right through the end of May.
Hmm.
I guess it's just something to hype people up a little bit about before Epic opens. And that's how I look at it, right?
Yeah.
Like because I'm sure there's a little bit of a lull right now over there at Universal leading up to
Yeah.
it because people are like, oh, I'll just wait a little bit to go. But it's probably a great time to go. I'm sure that beginning of May is going to be so great to go to Universal.
It really is. Oh my god. I I think it'll be the only time you'll ever see Hagrid's under 120 minutes.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. Yeah, so that's butterbeer season. Butterbeer season, like it's here. I like it. I think I like that they're really playing into it and they went all out with it too, with the merchandise, with the little gummy card. I want one of those. That would be great.
It's okay, so I was on board with it, but I had to go see if it was up on the Universal website on the merchandise store, and it does look like it is. It's $30 for
What's
the
that?
gummies.
$30 for the gummies?
Yeah,
I would buy it.
it's $30.
I would buy it. Unfortunately, I'd see. Here's the thing: when I'm sitting here in the office, I'll say
Uh-huh.
no. But when I'm in the park, like I am the cheap. Like let me be honest with you, I am the cheapest man alive when I'm not on vacation.
Same.
Like, I am so like I will pinch pennies everywhere I go. But when I go on
Hmm.
vacation, it's like, oh yeah, I want that. Oh okay, I'll get that. I'll get that. I'll get that. It's like, oh, the kids are like, oh, can I get this? Yeah, sure, go ahead, get it. Why not? We're on vacation. Like it is just insane how
I
how the,
see.
the switch that goes
I
off. It's just terrible.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's not terrible, but like I rationalize it as I work hard the whole year to go on vacation,
Hmm.
and then it's like when I'm there, I'm going to treat myself to a few things, you know.
See, I like to pretend like I'm going to be capable of mapping out how much money I'm going to spend at Universal, especially when HHN comes out and I'm seeing all the merchandise get released and I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that and I'm like, it's okay. Yeah, I'm going to get these hair bows I'm never going to wear. For sure, they're super cute. Never. I never buy them. And then I'll see like a trinket in the store and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's $60? Oh well.
Sure. Yeah, I guess that's the going rate.
I guess that's just what it costs.
That's it. Like you can't really argue it, right?
And
It's so
and Noah all the time is like, well, I mean, that's why you have a full time job, huh? Yeah, that's why I have a full time job.
that's it. Yeah. Um, so let's get into our next topic. Um, it's about the Universal Parks app. So the Universal Parks app was just updated a few days ago to include Epic Universe, and with that update, they included all the attractions that are coming to Epic Universe as well, which
Yep.
included all the rides that are going to have uh, single riders, all the rides that are going to have child swap available. So if you want to look at it, go on the Universal Parks app, go to the map, you can check it all out. Um, yeah, so this brings up like there is a lot of rides that have single rider on them at Epic Universe, which
Yeah.
I guess most people are going to love, right? Like I
Hmm.
know it's a big plus for Velocicoaster over there in Islands of Adventure. But let's just go through real quick what's going to have single rider. And so Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge is going to have it. Minecart Madness in Super Nintendo World. Yoshi's is not going to have it. Uh, Curse of the Werewolf will have it in Dark Universe, and also Monsters Unchained: The Frankenstein Experiment also is going to have single rider. The Battle at the Ministry will have single rider. Um, then in Isle of Burke, Dragon Racers no, uh, Fire Drill no, um, Hiccup's Wing Gliders yes, that's the roller coaster that's in there. And then in Celestial Park, the carousel is not going to have single rider, which I guess makes sense. And then Stardust Racer will have single rider. So basically, most of the major rides are going to have this single rider line, which is going to help, I think, right? Move things along.
Hmm.
Um, so we were talking before we started. Single rider is one of those things. I was in Disney. What was that? Week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. And single rider annoyed the crap out of me a little bit. So in Disney, it's a little different. So I paid for the multi pass. So for instance, I go on Remy's over in Epcot there. I'm on the Lightning Lane, which I paid for, right? Um, and in the single rider line, I see like all these little kids, like toddlers. Now, when I say toddlers, I'm thinking like 3, 4, 5 year olds. Couldn't be any more than that. I'm thinking to myself, how in the world are these people on single rider if these kids can't ride by themselves? Right? So
Yeah.
like where's the policing there? And I don't know. I haven't been on single rider at Velocicoaster, so I'm not really sure how that works over there. But I'll be honest, so on my other page, my Jim Travels Disney page, I posted a, a TikTok, and man, I got some backlash on it about this issue, and I got everybody saying,
Hmm.
"Rider swap, it's rider swap," and that's not how it works over there. I got, oh, they could be 7 years old and ride. Okay, fine. Even if it's 7, these kids were young. Like, these are younger than that. So how do you get up to the
Yeah.
front and separate them from their family? Then how does that work? So it's just people trying to game the system, right? They're trying to just, you know, basically not have a
Yeah.
110-minute line that's the standby line. So have you had any experience on the single rider lines at Universal?
Um, I haven't, but I have seen people get pulled out of the single rider line
Okay.
a couple of times for exactly that. Where it was like a big family that all went through the single rider line. And when they got up to the front, they were like, okay, like you're going to go here and you're going to go here and, doing the single rider line thing. And they were like, no, we want to stay together. And they were like,
Yeah,
no,
like that. Yeah.
no, you either need to exit stage left or you guys need to like hop back in line because like it's unfair. Um
Yeah.
I nobody wants to stand in line. Nobody does.
Nobody.
And
Yeah,
it
exactly.
sucks. It sucks genuinely. I hate waiting in line. Everybody hates waiting in line. Um but it doesn't feel great to get to the end of a 120-minute line and be held up because a family wanted to go through the single rider line.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel great.
It's yeah, it's so annoying, and you're waiting there for like 2 hours, and then you
Yeah.
just see the family, and they think that they just don't care. Like that's what it seems like,
Hmm.
right? It's just like whatever. I don't know what their situation is, but there was a lot of families, right? Like so, even if
Hmm.
there was like a few people that like may have needed it, or whatever. I know people could come at me or whatever, but there's so many. There was so many, and I was like, this
Yeah.
is so not right. And I feel like Universal does a better job at just saying no to people a little bit
Hmm.
than Disney, where Disney like kind of tiptoes around a little bit more.
Yeah.
They don't want to. I don't want to say offend people, but like they don't want to like ruin their magical experience type of thing. Where like
Hmm.
Universal is a little bit more on that edgier side. They kind of talk to you like normal people rather than this magical bubble that you're in, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying that either way is good or bad. I'm just saying
Mm-mm.
that when you're in Disney, cast members there like speak to you a certain way, right? Where it's there's
Yeah.
a type of way they speak to you, and it's always in a positive.
Hmm.
And where in Universal, I've noticed that not that they're talking negative to you, but they're talking
Yeah.
more direct to you, right? They'll say yes or no. Like, can we do this? No, you can't. Not.
Hmm.
It's not beating around the bush. Not just like, hey, like I would, but I can't. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing.
Right. Well, and
You know?
and here's my other thing. It's totally fine if like you and your family want to go through the single rider line because you just want to get on the ride. It's totally cool. If you want to do that, you're totally fine with getting separated because like I mean Noah and I have thought about it a couple of times when we were on Hagrid's where we were like, I mean, if we get separated, we get separated. It's fine. It's not like we're not going to ride other rides together. We just want to get on this ride because we
Mhm.
like the ride and we don't want to stand in line for 120 minutes. And I think last time we went on Hagrid's, I no, I guess I didn't, but I did end up with someone else because our group was uneven. So I ended up with someone else, and it's totally fine.
Yeah,
It's not a scary experience going through the single rider line or having to ride with someone that you don't know. I sat next to a family of 4 on the Velocicoaster. I was
yeah,
in an entirely separate cart from my friends. I could hear them because they were screaming, but I was in an entirely separate cart from my friends, and that's totally fine. I don't have an issue with bringing your family through the single rider line. You guys are all still together through the line, and then you get on the ride, and then you're not together when you get on the ride. It's fine. That is
yeah.
fine.
Agreed.
But
A
when
hundred.
you're doing things like your whole family's going through the line, there's the possibility you guys are going to get separated at the end, and these kids are like 6 or 7.
Yeah, yeah.
It feels too young. It feels too young to go through the single rider line.
So I was trying to find it at Universal. I can't really find it. The only thing I saw was 14. Now over in Disney, a child that's under 7 has to ride with somebody that's over 14, which is what I wrote on my TikTok that everybody was losing their mind over. Whatever.
Hmm.
But the at Universal, I see 14 as the number. It does not. Nothing pops up younger than that, which I kind of get, right? Like 7 years old. You're talking about a second grader, like going
Well,
on a
your
ride.
line, yeah,
Like
mm-mm.
obviously, if they're tall enough too. Like I guess there are height requirements as well. So
Mhm.
maybe some of these seven, maybe that's why they put it at seven. Is like the average height of a 7 year old goes on these type of rides and they can ride by themselves. But
Sure.
I wouldn't trust my son to walk on. Like my son's 10 now, but at seven, I wouldn't have let him on a ride by himself. Are you
Right.
kidding me? Go walk through this queue by yourself. I'll wait here for you. Like no, I would never
Walk
do
through this
that.
queue, sit next to a random adult I've never met. I don't know. I feel weird about it. I
I
have a ton of siblings and stuff, and I know that at 7 years old, most of my siblings would not have been able to like emotionally handle like not being near someone they know or something like that. And then there's like all kinds of like weird things that could happen when they get off the ride. They could get lost. They could
yeah,
unfortunately get taken.
yeah.
And that's like I wouldn't be able
I'm
to.
telling you, it's yeah, it's wild to me. It's wild.
Yeah.
Like when I heard seven, I was like, no way. There's no way. I had to look it up. I'm like, oh, I guess
Seven feels
I was wrong
so young.
now. you know. But yeah, that's crazy. So another thing that you see though in the app, other than the single rider line, is like rider swap or child swap is what they call it. So this is where Universal shines and is like just destroys Disney in this respect.
Yeah.
Their rider swap. Now we did this on our
Ugh.
trip. My son isn't the biggest thrill seeker,
Mhm.
right? But what we used it for. So here's what happened. So let's say Forbidden Journey, right? We go on Forbidden Journey. We all wait in line as a family. We get up to
Mhm.
the front. We let the cast member know or whoever the team member there say, hey, we want to use rider swap. They put you in this room right at the front of the queue. It's
Mhm.
got like Harry Potter movies in there, depending on which, obviously depending on
Yeah.
which, like it's all themed to that attraction. So comfortable. There's benches everywhere. Like you're in your own little room.
Mhm.
My wife and my daughter went on Forbidden Journey. They got off. Where they get off, they go right into the room. They came over to us. My wife's like, "Hey, I think you could handle this one, right?" So it was almost like they went out on the test run. So
Yeah.
if she thought, "Oh, it's too intense for him," like, why don't you just go by yourself? Then I would have just went by myself with my daughter, or you could bring your daughter. You could bring another person on with you. So,
Right.
um, so what we did there was then me and my son would just go on. They wait there. We did that multiple times, and it
Mhm.
was, and all you do is just walk out of the room, and you basically just walk right on the line. There's no
Yeah.
waiting, nothing. So it is so nice um, for that. Now,
Mhm.
my experience with rider swap at Disney was completely different. Right, you have to set this up outside the attraction. They
Do
do
you
something on,
really?
yeah. So we did it for Guardians of the Galaxy, not this past trip, but the one before it. I guess it was like
Okay.
2 years prior. So like Guardians of the Galaxy was relatively new.
Yeah.
So what happened was we had lightning lanes. No, no, it was a virtual queue. So we get
Mhm.
back to the virtual queue. I wanted to go on it. My wife wanted to go on it. My kids did not. So we went up. They scanned our magic bands, right? So basically, when I got off the ride, she could go through the lightning lane, right? So I still had to wait in the virtual queue line, which was like an hour at the time. So I waited like an hour to go on this ride after my boarding group got called. Then when I
Mhm.
got off, she went on through the lightning lane. She obviously got on and off within like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So like that was the biggest difference. But you're outside in the heat, you're away from your family. So I was waiting by myself in line, right? In this queue. And
Weird.
then I had to wait outside for my wife to get done. The
Mhm.
difference is night and day. Night and day. So
Yeah.
you don't have to split up your family on the child swap at Universal. It is a great experience. And
Mhm.
you all get to go you experience and the line queues at Universal are phenomenal on these new rides. And that's what I think makes Epic Universe going to be amazing because all these
Yeah.
rides are going to have the best queues ever because all the newer attractions have
Mhm.
amazing queues.
Yeah.
Like like Gringotts. Gringotts is one of the best. ride queues I've ever seen. It is
Incredible.
so good.
Oh
I
my God.
say it all the time. Make sure you get in the queue. You could chicken out at the end if you don't want to
Mhm.
go on that ride, but it is one of the best ride queues I've ever been in, and it's a big queue.
Right.
It's a
It's
long,
massive.
yeah, but it is so much fun to walk through
Mhm.
that it's worth every minute that you wait in line. It really
Yeah.
is. So you can take pictures the entire time. Like you, it's so good.
Well, that's how I feel about Velocicoaster too, and it kind of leads me into this. I have a similar story about Child Swap. So when we went, not this last time, but the time before, um, me and Holly were dead set on riding the Velocicoaster at night. Dead set on it. We had to ride the Velocicoaster at night because we'd never done it before. We had to ride it at night. But we had Noah, Holly, Brian, Harper, and Elliot with us. Elliot is not a roller coaster person. He's really not much of like a theme park person. He'll go, but like, I think he's kind of warming up to it now. That's my personal opinion. Holly can correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's kind of warming up to it now. But we were gonna go on the Velocicoaster. It was gonna be at night. We were gonna ride it, and we get to like the line part. Elliot was like, "Well, I can just wait in the visitor center." He was like, "I don't want to go on the Velocicoaster," and we were like, "We're not gonna make you go on the Velocicoaster. You're not gonna. We're not gonna make you go on the Velocicoaster." But at least come through the queue with us because of the Velociraptors. They're so cool. And he was like, and he was still apprehensive about it. He didn't really want to go, but we also have Harper's wheelchair because she needs it. And so we had Harper's wheelchair and Elliot, and we were going through the line. So we get through the Velocicoasters. He's like unimpressed because Elliot is a very stoic person, and he unimpressed. I was like, "Ooh, the Velociraptors! I always take pictures," and he was like, "I was like, okay, understood." So get all the way through, and then we get up to the front of the line, and the lady was like, "Okay, how many?" And Holly was like, "There's four of us, but we are sending two to Child Swap, but they're not getting back on the ride. They're not coming with us." And she was like, "Okay." And she was like, "So they're literally just going to wait for us over here, and then we'll all walk out of the ride together." And she was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." So we get on the ride, have a blast because it's the Velocicoaster. Obviously, we did. Have a blast. We get back to the Child Swap area, and like Elliot's like leaned in Harper's chair. He's just like watching the movie that was playing. I think they were playing the first Jurassic Park. Um, and he didn't even notice we walked in. We're
Yeah.
like grabbing all of our stuff off the wheelchair because we put all of our bags and everything on the wheelchair because we were going through Child Swap, so we didn't have to put anything in the lockers because we had the wheelchair, which was kind of nice. And I didn't really know that that was going to be a thing, but we had explained to the people at the metal detectors that like we were putting all of our stuff onto the wheelchair because we were going through Child Swap, and that's we were going to leave it there. And they were like, "Yeah, okay, that's fine."
Nice.
And I think they kind of like monitored us through the rest of the line, but like
Yeah,
we
that's
did what we
fine.
were supposed to.
Yeah, yeah, you're doing the right thing anyway. So
Yeah. And and it was great. He didn't even notice we came in there. We walked in, we were like, "Hey Elliot," and he was like, "Oh, are you guys done already?" Like, yeah, we're done.
yeah, it's a
And we
couple.
walked out, went through the gift store, he went into the visitor center, and we were fine.
Yeah,
And Brian kind of went back and forth on whether or not he was actually going to ride it because like sometimes he'll ride the Velocicoaster, but not always. And so we when we had gotten up there before we had decided fully who was going into Child Swap, we had asked if Elliot was allowed to go in there by himself because he is. Oh, Noah and Holly can yell at me for this later. 13? Question mark. Um, oh no. She's gonna text me about that. I think he's like 13, and we had asked if he was allowed to go in by himself, and they were like, "Yeah, he's old enough to go in by himself." So that was a really nice thing that we figured out also. is that he was like allowed to go in by himself if Brian had wanted to get on the ride. Brian ended up not getting on the ride, but if he had wanted to, it was
Good to know.
there.
Yeah, good piece of information to know.
So there's that also. If your kid's old enough, they can go into child swap by
Okay.
themselves if they're not getting on the ride.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
And you don't have to leave them outside, and they can sit in the air conditioning.
Yeah, it's great. The child swap is so good at Universal. It's so
Love child swap.
it's the best. It's the best. Actually, this last time we went to Disney, we did the after hours
Mm-hmm.
at Magic Kingdom, and Tron was the only thing that had really like a wait on during after hours. It was only like 20 minutes. It wasn't long.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, no. So my son did not want to ride, so my daughter wanted to go on.
Mm-hmm.
The confusion that ensued over child swap. So they're like, yeah, no, you just tell the person when you buy the lockers. Now this is my first time going on Tron, so like I have no idea where the lockers are. So we're
Mm-hmm.
outside waiting. Then we get in. I get to we're going into the building. I tell the lady, I say, hey, we're interested in child swap. A child swap. Do I talk to you? No, it's by the lockers. I'm like, how far are the lockers? Oh, it's just inside. So we go into another room. We're going back and forth, and then we finally get to the lockers. So then I'm talking to the guy. I said, hey, child swap, like, what do we do? Oh, just keep walking past the lockers to the next guy. And
I don't
this
think
is
they
like,
knew where child swap was.
you gotta understand, like, we rope dropped Animal Kingdom at 7 a.m., right?
Mm-hmm.
This is 12:30 at night right now. This is all
Yeah.
happening. So, like, we've been going all day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, like, done. I'm like, what is going on? So I go to the guy. I said, we want to do child swap. Like, how does this happen? Oh, here's what you got to do. You got to go out that door where it says exit. I said, okay. So my wife and my daughter go on, and me and my son are like, he's like, go out the door, make a right, and go down the hallway, down the ramp and let the people know that, you're doing child swap. I said, okay. Like I said, I don't know the ride because it's my first time ever going on it. So I go out the doors, I make a right, I go down the hallway, I see the ramp. Now this is where people are getting off the ride. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm going the right way. I don't know. I am walking like down with my son down these ramps to get down to. I'm at the loading platform now. Like I'm at the load. Like I end up where they get off the ride, and they're like, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "I don't know where I am." Like I'm like yelling at the guy like, across the room. I'm like, "Child swap? Like what am I doing here? Like I don't know."
Where
Right?
do I go to child swap?
You got to go back up the ramp to the lockers. I said, "That's where I was just there. Like you guys told me to come down here." Oh no, you got to go back up to the lockers. So I go all the way back up to the lockers, and finally I hit one cast member that's like, I'm like, hey, can you help me? Like, I want to do child swap. I don't know where to wait. I don't know how I get back on. Right? And he goes, listen, you're just gonna wait here. When the other person comes, you're gonna go through this door here, the same door that the guy told me to go through the exit. I said, he could have just told me to go through the door, wait there, and then come back in the door. How easy was that? Right? It was mind boggling. Like, I was so frustrated. I was just like, what is going on?
And you
Great
still
ride.
got on the ride? I
I got,
probably would not have gotten on the ride.
oh,
I would
and
have
then
just waited and then gotten off.
I went back. Yeah, because I wanted to try to go on the ride. Like, I spent a ton of money
You have
for
more
it.
patience than
You know
I
what I
do.
mean? So then me and my daughter go on. My
Mm-hmm.
daughter absolutely loved it. I was like, all right, let's go. And so then we walk back through the door, and then like all of a sudden, like a cast member comes like running over me, doing trial swap. I'm like, oh, now you know what trial swap is, right? Like now, after all of this, now you're gonna attack me because I'm
My
coming in the wrong
God.
door. Like, oh, it was like, I was like, what is going on here? Like, it was the weirdest thing ever. And my son's like, no, they told us to go there. Like I said, I know they did. Like I wouldn't just go randomly walk down onto a loading platform. It was the weirdest thing ever. It was so strange. It was so strange. Um,
God.
yeah. So, like I said, Universal has it right with Child Swap. Like I love it. It's the best. And it doesn't have to be a
It,
child swap. Like it's just people that don't want to ride the ride. Like you
mhm.
just stay together and get to the front of the line, and people just wait for you to get off. It's the best. It's absolutely
Well,
the
and
best.
especially for the line queues. I mean, so many people want to walk through the line queues.
Yeah,
Like,
it's worth it. Yeah, yeah, it's so great. All right, so let's take a break here. When we get back, we'll talk about the new wands that were released. All right, so stay right there. We'll be right back. The Universally Epic podcast is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel, a Universal you preferred travel agency. If you're looking to plan your next Universal Orlando vacation, let's do it together. As certified Universal specialists, we can help guide you through the planning process with helpful tips and tricks along the way. The best part, all our travel planning services are free to you.
when you book your Universal Orlando vacation with us, you qualify for an exclusive booking bonus offer from the Magic for Less Travel, a $25 Universal gift card for all vacation packages over $2,500. Ready to start planning? Email the podcast at universallyepicpodcast@gmail.com and start planning your next epic Universal vacation today.
All right, so Universal just announced, or not even just announced, it just came out March 1st, the second generation of the wands at the Wizarding World.
Yeah, they
These,
just kind of told us that was happening. They didn't announce it or anything. They were just like, yep, and there's new ones.
yeah, all of a sudden, right? Like overnight, everything, all your information is here. Um, it is pretty cool. Like it's definitely um, a nice update. It seems
Yeah.
they're they're a little bit more interactive, so you can link the wands up to a Universal Play app, kind of
Mhm.
similar to like the Disney Parks Play app over in Disney World, but this one seems like it's a little bit better, to be honest. Um, so with that, you can score points, and like you choose a house that you're in, and you could score points, and it tallies up your points. There's different levels of like wizardry you can be, um, and then you have a chance. So it says here that you have chances to earn points towards the house cup each day. So I guess it just resets each day, and depending on who's in what house, and I guess it all interacts with each other. It's kind of cool. So you're going to be able to name your, like you're going to get a wizard name on the app. What else is there? There's new like locations and stuff, and they have new locations on in Epic Universe also.
Which is kind
But
of cool because that means that they did, I guess, with the wand boxes, just from what I was seeing, they have like a full map of the Harry Potter area in Epic Universe,
yes, yeah. So they have the
which
whole
is pretty
map
cool.
there. When you open up your box, there's going to be a QR code that you can scan, so it easily links up. It's not going to be like you don't have to like worry about being so confused.
You have to like smack your
Um,
phone with the wand.
and here's the one thing that I'm hoping for, and it seems from the videos I saw online because there are casts. Well, the new wands are out in all everywhere, all parks and everything. It seems like they work a little better.
Hmm.
Um, to be honest, like when we went, my daughter had a wand. Like we went to Ollivander's, she got chosen. It was really cool. Um,
Oh, she did.
yeah, we cheated the system though. We just kept going back in. The line wasn't very long, so like you know what I mean. Like we went, so we were in Diagon Alley first. We went there. She didn't get chosen. So when we were over in Hogsmeade, we're like, you know what? Let's just try it over there. And she got chosen when we went over there. So like we went twice. So it was nice.
Hell yeah.
It was very cool. And it's almost like here you got chosen. Like now
Hmm.
you have to buy the wand. Like they know it's a guaranteed sale because the whole thing is like the wand picks you. So yeah, so they picked my daughter, and I'm out $75. Um,
I was gonna ask how much did you spend on the wand?
like $75. These are like $90. These new ones, I think I
Yeah.
saw. So yeah, so there's like lighting effects now.
Hmm.
It looks a little bit more updated. Obviously, some of the from some of the videos that we see. Um, yeah, it looks good. So when we went and we had the wand, some of the effects took a very long time to do. And I think
Yeah.
that was a little bit frustrating, not only to me watching my daughter try, and then obviously like my son wanted to try too, like so they would like borrow each other, use the same
Hmm.
wand because I'm not shelling out $150 for two wands. But the it was it took a little bit. So like I'm hoping with the new updated wands, it'll be a little bit easier. Because what we found was like there ended up being like lines almost at these little spell stations, and it kind of takes away from the, it should just be like walk up, do your thing, move on, like.
Hmm.
But when there's like a line for each thing, it's like, it's just like,
Yeah. It
you know,
ruins the illusion.
yeah. And with the better effects, it's kind of worth it in the end. There was
Hmm.
that one. There was an effect. It was in Diagon Alley, over where you get like the hot butter beer. There was like a water feature. Oh no, that was
Is
over
it the
by.
umbrella?
No, okay, yeah. So I'm thinking the umbrella. That's not there. That's up and over to the left. The
Yeah.
one I'm thinking of is over down that little alleyway where like the shops are and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
Turn the light on or something like that. That was kind of cool. Like,
Yeah.
but these ones have like LED lights that light up now. The
Yeah.
effects are definitely a lot better.
Hmm.
I like the fact that you do score points. That's kind of nice. It's kind of like how the power bands are going to be at Super Nintendo World.
Yeah. It's like a fun little mini game that you can play. And
Yeah,
especially, when like you're looking around, it's right at that noon time and you're like, God, everything is awful weight wise. You're like, let's go run around and do some spells, kids.
yeah,
Let's go do some
exactly.
spells.
Yeah, it's just something to do. It's obviously going to be all interactive throughout all three parks, and it'll be cool to see. Especially this is now, you know, right now you can't park hop into Epic Universe or out of
Hmm.
Epic Universe. You know what I mean? Like that's just not how it works right now.
Yeah.
But when it does become available, that park to park to Epic Universe in the future, it's gonna be cool to have like
Hmm.
your whole day. Like you could literally spend the whole day just doing Wizarding World spells through all the parks. Like it would be kind of cool
Hmm.
to do. Um, yeah, and so I finally found the website then. So they're gonna save all your spells too into your app. Um, you're gonna discover fantastic beasts. That's gonna be part of it over in the Ministry of Magic. Let's see. There's one other thing that I wanted. The achievements was like the big thing, right? Like so to assign like a point system to it, and like now that you're part of a house and you're adding points to your overall score, it's going to be I think it's going to be a lot more interactive and a lot more fun for people, not just like wave a wand, something moves and you move on.
Yeah.
And for those that are into it.
Hmm. Are
Yeah,
you a Harry Potter fan?
you know, I'm a Harry Potter fan by default because my daughter loves Harry Potter. So I think I was on with Laura once. Laura's a huge Harry Potter fan,
Hmm.
um, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about right now, but she knew. She knew. It was such a good episode because I have no idea what I'm talking about. So she's like, "Yeah, we'll talk about Harry Potter." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, please." And she carried the whole thing. Thank God. Like that was one of the earlier episodes. If you want to go back and check it out, she was a wealth of knowledge of Harry Potter. But yeah, you know, I'm a huge fan of the lands. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
believe how cool they looked. But my daughter was picking up on things. Oh yeah, that's this. Oh, that's that. Like it's like those little things that I guess Harry Potter fans pick up on. I'm just like, yo, this is really cool. This is look at this.
Did that
Look at all
dragon just breathe fire?
yeah, that's fire, fire. There's snow on those roofs. That's amazing. This is snowman. Look at that. You know,
How are there this many people on one street?
yeah. You know, it's probably one of the better like lands. You know,
I agree.
when you put into like themed lands, Epic Universe is just going to blow everything out of the water in
Hmm.
Orlando. But I would say all the Harry Potter, like the Wizarding Worlds, are like up there at number one. Like that is the best.
100%.
I would say, you know, in terms of Universal, I think that's all they got right now until Epic Universe comes on. And then you go
Yeah.
back and look at Disney, where it's like Pandora and Galaxy's Edge. Those two are pretty spectacular when it comes to like
Yeah.
theme, especially Pandora. Like that was probably one of the that was probably what led to the whole Harry Potter and Pandora thing, right? Like that was
Hmm.
this is where it all comes from. So
Yeah.
Galaxy's Edge is a direct result of all this as well. Um,
Right.
and so in the future, it's going to be really it's going to be interesting to see what Disney does after this, because Epic is just the. It's literally they said, "Hey, we're going to have a Wizarding World in every single land." Basically, is what
Hmm.
they're saying. Where it's like Super Mario, and the cast member previews are going on, and Super Nintendo World looks amazing. Like I saw the videos, it going through that warp pipe looks amazing. Like it looks great. I have not seen anybody going in Dark Universe. Have you seen anybody?
I haven't seen any videos, mostly because most of the influencers or cast members that I'm following um, are like, go in blind. Don't go in looking at anything. Go in blind. It
Got
is spectacular. Go in blind.
yeah, yeah. It's
Um, I'm so excited. I'm so
yeah,
excited.
it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be then, like we said, like you're getting one day right now at Epic Universe, and I don't know if it's gonna be enough to like do the whole park.
According to the cast member previews, and anybody that's reporting on it right now, they're like, I spent the whole day in, I want to say they said Super Nintendo Land, but they were like, I spent the whole day there and I still don't feel like I got enough out of it.
Yeah, well, when you get into Super Nintendo Land, right, you're gonna get your power bands. I know my kids are gonna want the power bands, and you're gonna go around and you're gonna do all your like your tasks or whatever. And I think there's like 4 or 5 challenges that you have to do, and then when you complete like I think it's either 3 or 4 of those challenges, then you go on to like you meet Bowser Jr. in like a final showdown. Like those things are like so now you have to do it, right? Like you
I
have
know
to go
Noah and I are
out.
going to compete.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Look, it's and it's just another interactive thing, and it's you don't have to wait in line for it. I'm sure like each section is gonna have a little wait, to do whatever
Hmm.
you have to do for the interactive part of it. But yeah, like Super Nintendo World, and plus they have the whole Donkey Kong Country area there, so that's even bigger than Hollywood. So
Can you buy the power bands in advance yet?
I don't know. I know they did say that you could buy them in Celestial Park. There's a store in Celestial Park before you go in. So if you didn't want to wait online inside the land, you could do that. But I'm not sure if you could buy them online or not.
It does not look like it.
No.
So, not yet. But I
Okay.
would be willing to bet that probably a couple of weeks before before Epic opens, they're probably going to put them on sale on the website,
Yeah,
which
I can
we
see that.
absolutely will let you guys know if
Yeah,
those
of
go on
course.
sale before the
Yeah,
park opens.
yeah. I think in the next couple weeks we're gonna have a lot to talk about. Like these are just
Oh yeah.
everything's rolling out so fast right now because it's getting down to crunch time. Right, we're in beginning of March now, and it's
Hmm.
gonna go quick. So yeah, so
I'm I'm knocking on Universal's door. I'm begging Mr. Universal himself, begging for them to tell me when the annual pass previews are. I am begging.
it's got to be soon. It's
It's
got to
got to
be.
be soon.
Right? Yeah,
It has
it's
to
got.
be. It has to
Yeah,
be soon.
it. If cast members start now, give that like what 2 weeks. Probably you're looking at beginning of April. It's got to be close to that. So, well, I
Beginning of
can't.
April, end of April, beginning of May
Yeah,
is probably what we're looking
true.
at.
Yep, yep. So,
Because I
all right.
don't think they're going to let people into that park that early.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe probably the cast members are the guinea pigs right now, right? And then they'll take a little
Yeah.
break, fix whatever
Yeah.
they need to do, and let
Because
everybody else.
everything is in technical rehearsal right now.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. Well, you want to wrap this one up?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so like, follow, and subscribe to Universally Epic Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Leave us a rating or review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, join the Universally Epic Podcast community group on Facebook. This episode has been brought to you by the Magic of Less Travel. If you have any Universal Orlando trip planning questions or are looking to book your next trip, email us at universallyepicpodcast@gmail.com. And like always, have an epic week, everybody. There's been a huge update to the Universal Parks app, and oh my god, I'm just gonna stop for a second. I am just fumbling everywhere. This is terrible. Oh my god. All right, ready? Hold on. I had a website. I can't find the website that I had. Like I had something here. I just can't find it. The spells look like there's better what is that, thing, like, I don't know, what do you call that, I don't know, like what the things did. You know what I mean? Like, what is that called? I can't think of the word.
Effects?
Yeah, effects. I can't. Oh my god, effects.
It's been a long week for the both of us.
Yeah.
Bear with us.